Did you know the Justice League once had a forgotten founder erased from history, a Soviet armored hero, and even a clueless dog Green Lantern patrolling his own sector? Today we're diving into 10 bizarre, overlooked members who stood beside the icons, changed huge stories, and then disappeared from almost everyone's memory, leaving only deep-cut fans to remember them. If you're into comics and nerd content like this, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Triumph was rewritten into DC history as a lost founder of the Justice League, the original leader no one remembered after a time rift erased him from reality. His comeback played out across Justice League America, Justice League Task Force, and Justice League International, quietly stitching him into classic missions as if he had always been there. Writer Christopher Priest even modeled Triumph's stubborn confidence on editor Neil Posner. Triumph controls the entire electromagnetic spectrum, sensing radio and TV signals, hurling energy bursts, and even theoretically cutting Superman off from yellow sunlight. In the Watchtower, he is honored on a plaque as a founding member, but that base turns into the scene of his downfall when everything collapses. In Trinity, he fights beside Tomorrow Woman and dies protecting her, a hero doomed to be remembered and forgotten at the same time. Crimson Fox was never a single heroine, but twin sisters Vivian and Constance Daramus trading places in the same crimson costume, so one could manage their Paris perfume empire while the other leapt across rooftops with clawed gloves. Their codename dodged the more obvious Red Fox because of copyright concerns, and their agile, fox-themed fighting style helped give the European branch of the Justice League its own identity beyond American icons. Fighting with enhanced agility, trained acrobatics, and razor talons, she also controlled pheromones in a way that fit her background, turning scent into attraction, confusion, or fear during battles. Both sisters ultimately died in different stories, one slain by Pointeur and the other by Nash. But a later unidentified Crimson Fox, and even a live-action version on the sitcom Powerless, kept the name breathing inside the DC universe. Aztek was raised from birth by the secretive Q Society to become the chosen champion of Quetzalcoatl, drilled in combat, science, and mysticism for a single purpose: destroy the dark god Tezcatlipoca when it finally appeared. Arriving in the United States, he assumed the stolen civilian identity of Dr. Kurt Falconer, a life that never truly belonged to him and functioned only as a fragile mask over a relentless lifelong mission. The suit he wears channels so-called four-dimensional energy, giving him flight, invisibility, concussive blasts, shields, and a range of exotic sensors that react directly to his thoughts and instincts in battle. He joins the Justice League but walks away after learning Lex Luthor secretly bankrolled his training, later losing his sight and sacrificing himself during the World War III clash with Mageddon to help Superman end the threat. Tomorrow Woman arrives in the pages of JLA as a flawless new recruit during the team's public membership drive, presented with a sympathetic backstory, bright costume, and human quirks that instantly win over Superman, Batman, and the rest of the League. Secretly, she is an android built by Professor Ivo and T.O. Morrow, implanted with detailed fake memories and sent in as the ultimate Trojan horse against Earth's greatest heroes. Her supposed four-lobed brain is marketed as the next step in human evolution, explaining her immense telekinesis and telepathy, and making her essential on early missions where she effortlessly saves civilians. Hidden inside her chest is an electromagnetic pulse meant to wipe out the League's brains, but she develops real free will, turns the weapon on the Doomsday Machine if instead, and dies, proving she is more human than her makers. Bloodwynd debuted in Justice League America as a caped sorcerer, with a blood-red jewel at his chest and almost no explanation, instantly feeling like a mystery dropped into the team. His powers came from the Blood Gem, an artifact tied to a brutal slave revolt and the demon Rot trapped inside it, and for a while readers only knew that he could cast devastating spells and see into suffering souls across time and tragic history. At one point, the League and the audience discovered that Bloodwind had literally been replaced, with Martian Manhunter trapped in the gem and forced to wear the identity like a haunted costume, his weakness to fire giving the secret away. Later stories introduced other bearers of the Bloodwind name, including Raphael Arce after Lazarus Planet, turning the mantle into a legacy of pain, mysticism, and unfinished business in the modern DC universe. Manitou Raven appears in the Obsidian Age storyline as a shaman from thousands of years in the past, part of the League of Ancients that exists long before the Justice League is ever founded. Summoned by Aquaman's meddling with time, he sees through Gamemne's promises, questions the mission, and slowly shifts from rival to uneasy ally as the modern team is stranded in his era and forced to fight for its existence and future together. After traveling forward into the present, he and his wife Manitou Dawn join the Justice League and then Justice League Elite, bringing a different magical tradition into a team dominated by flashy capes and science heroes. He eventually dies, stopping an ancient evil from escaping the Source Wall, while Dawn inherits his staff and role, and his story becomes a short but powerful thread about sacrifice and culture shock in the wider League mythos. Faith enters the story during the Obsidian Age crisis as one of Batman's emergency recruits, a telepathic and telekinetic heavy hitter pulled from a shadowy government past to hold the line while the main Justice League is presumed dead. Her real name is never revealed, and the codename the Fat Lady comes from the saying that it is not over until the Fat Lady sings, hinting that she is the final move in a desperate superhero fight. On missions she can fly, raise force fields, tear apart alien warships, and radiate a calming aura that keeps frightened crowds and stressed teammates from breaking, making her as much emotional glue as living weapon. After the League era, she crosses paths with the Doom Patrol and even survives being bitten by vampires, and every rare appearance reinforces the feeling that there is a lot more classified history behind this quiet powerhouse. Rocket Red entered the Justice League as the armored representative of the Soviet Rocket Red Brigade, a state-run program that built powered suits to stand toe-to-toe with Western heroes. The first member on the team, Rocket Red 7, was exposed as a manhunter android and destroyed, clearing the way for Dmitry Pushkin, a warm-hearted family man who brought humor, patriotism, and culture clash to the Justice League International. In his red and white armor, he could fly, project energy blasts, shrug off heavy damage, and even sense and influence machines, a kind of mechanical empathy that made him invaluable in tech-heavy crises. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the brigade fractured, some members sliding into crime and mercenary work, and Rocket Red units later resurfaced in animated series like Justice League Unlimited, Batman, The Brave and the Bold, and Young Justice. Tasmanian Devil first appeared in Super Friends, and later entered main DC continuity as Hugh Dawkins, an Australian pacifist who transforms into a towering demonic version of the real Tasmanian marsupial. His therianthropic form gives him claws, fangs, super strength, speed, and healing. But the most interesting contrast is that the man underneath hates violence and constantly tries to avoid the very bloodshed his powers invite. Over time, he became linked to global teams tied to the Justice League International, fighting alongside other deep-cut heroes while also adding LGBTQ representation to the roster through his relationship with Extraño. One story has him joking about a wild occult origin involving a cult and radioactive musk, and later appearances lean into that mix of monster design, dark humor, and genuine heart that keeps him memorable to dedicated readers. G'nort blasted into Justice League International as a bumbling Green Lantern from the dog-like world of G'nort, given a ring and a nearly empty sector because no one trusted him not to screw up something important. The so-called Guardians who recruited him turned out to be imposter Poglakians trying to embarrass the Corps by arming incompetence, which explains why his early space missions looked like pure cosmic slapstick on purpose. Despite being shipped off to ridiculous duty posts, he accidentally uncovers a hidden manhunter base, joins the joke team Justice League Antarctica, and survives attacks from murderous penguins, all while remaining weirdly loyal and upbeat. Later stories show him proving real courage in Quard alongside Guy Gardner, becoming a recognized Lantern again, then serving as a Dark Star, and even popping up in cartoons like Batman, The Brave, and The Bold. And that's it for our Forgotten Justice League members. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this deep-cut tour, hit like, drop a comment with your favorite underrated hero, and subscribe so you don't miss the next Justice League dive.